Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Momentum number 297. Merry Christmas Eve. If you celebrate Christmas, if you don't, happy holidays, guys. Hope you're doing well tonight. If you're looking at the title of this video, is how we are crushing SMS and cold calling, and especially heading into 2022. This is something that we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future. The strategy that I'm going to be talking about in this video today, I had alluded to in a previous video, which was getting ready for 2022, the big changes coming in the real estate market, and most importantly for us as wholesalers, real estate investors, fix and flippers, whatever, it's the marketing aspect, how this is going to change how we reach people in an effective and affordable way. Okay, so there's been a lot of stuff going on. There's been a lot of things going on as far as like the changes in cold calling. Is cold calling going away? Oh my gosh, the sky's falling. What's going on with SMS? Is SMS going away? The sky's falling. Everything. Guys, look, marketing is always changing. The strategies are always changing, almost quarter to quarter, week to week, month to month. We are always staying on top of our data, right? And I was thinking about maybe making this video saying know your numbers, but I'm like, no, we can dive a little bit deeper in here and talk a little bit more about just the marketing aspect. I'm just going to go ahead and assume on this video that you, number one, know the data in your like the data in your business, the KPIs, what is actually happening in your business. Like, are you getting connected to homeowners over the phone? If you're not, that's an issue, right? Are you getting leads? Are you pushing leads? If not, that's an issue. How much are you spending versus how many leads are you getting versus how many deals are you closing, right? It literally works just like that, guys. So one, two, three. Victor, what's up? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Merry Christmas. Yeah, so that's how this process works. And if you, I'm just going to go ahead and assume on this video here today that you guys know the language of your business. Remember, I've said it over and over and over again. The data is the language of your business. Your business is telling you something. Just here recently, we changed our cold calling strategies. We changed our SMS strategies simply because what the data was telling us in our personal business. Make a couple tweaks, all of a sudden it starts working again. You start getting more leads. So, guys, that's not what this video in particular is geared towards, but I've have a ton of videos on my channel geared towards knowing what the data in your business actually means. Like, what are those KPIs? What is that telling you about your business? Okay. But heading into 2022, right, we want to be effective with cold calling. We want to be effective with SMS. Heck, that's kind of what this whole YouTube channel is dedicated to, reaching homeowners, getting deals done at an effective rate so you can get your business off the ground. We talked about it many, many, many times, but how we are doing that has changed just a little bit. Okay. So, again, with what's happening with cold calling and more restrictions put on SMS, I think now more than ever, it is so important that we stay niche with our marketing. Okay. We have to know, instead of just trying to reach every single person, we got to narrow down our people, right? Maybe that's foreclosures. We talked about it. Maybe that's driving for dollars. We talked about it. But ultimately, we're not trying to reach the 100,000 person list. I'm trying to get to the 10,000 people. I'm trying to get to the 7,000 people, the 5,000 people, the 3,000 people, so on and so forth. Because again, the magic is not in the list itself, it's in getting through it multiple times. We market to a situation. So I know if there's the situation is, foreclosure, divorce, probate, whatever, I have a list of 3,000 people, then I know based on the situation that is on that list, if I get someone to answer, there's a good chance that maybe by selling the property, it may solve the problem, right? There's a good chance that someone answers they have some problem that needs to be solved and we can help them. Okay, that's the whole idea. And then you work your way backwards and think like, man, how many times you have to call someone? It has to be the perfect time, the perfect day, the perfect just moment in time where they actually pick up the phone and answer, right? That's why I have no problem recycling the list 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 times. Because reality is, like most times, people aren't going to answer. So we got to be able to call the list over and over and over and over and over again and being okay with that, right? The shiny object says I need to go get another list. Reality is, the situation I'm marketing to is right here in front of me. So I'm just going to continue hitting it. So heading into the new year, we're crushing our goals by number one, we're staying with our data. We know our situation, right? But most importantly is we've started verifying our data. Okay? We started verifying it. What does that mean? We know Mr. Homeowner, let's just use me for example, Matt Beard. I have had many cell phones since I was 13 years old, right? I can't even tell you. I've had my South Carolina numbers, moved out to Arizona. I have different numbers since I moved to Arizona. Different carrier, so many different things. So when someone skip traces me, they might get, 10 phone numbers, right? It's pretty common for when someone gets data back after skip tracing, you have multiple phone numbers for someone. I'm not gonna say 10, but you have a lot of phone numbers. Well, the reality is a lot of those phone numbers do not belong to the seller. Okay. Best practices and what we've done in the past is, let's just say we have a list of 10,000 people. We'll take the best three numbers for each lead and we'll just call those best three numbers. And what happens is you get a lot of wrong phone numbers, but you're kind of hoping for the best. And again, I think the day and the time of just hoping for the best in the shotgun approach marketing, you could have made a ton of money last year doing it. Year before, you could have made a ton of money doing it. But as time goes on, we got to be more strategic. Not saying it doesn't work. It absolutely works. You can get a deal done right now. We just got to be smarter on how we do these things, right? So what I mean by that is we're verifying the data. I may have 10 phone numbers associated with me, but which one is the one that's right here in my pocket? I'm gonna pull it out. What number is this one? Okay. And we can actually get that data by data mining and data scrubbing. So what we have started doing is we've partnered with a service where they just verify our data and it's physically done by virtual assistants. We go through our data sets and they want to find the phone number that is associated with the first and the last name, right? And not only that, if the phone number is associated with someone with the last name but not the person, it's a good likelihood it's a sibling or a family member. And they will also tell us that, right? So instead of having 10 phone numbers, I can identify the one or two that are actually verified, that are actually registered to the person I'm trying to call, right? And newsflash, sometimes that was phone number 5. Sometimes that was phone number 7 that was on the data set that we would have never called in the first place. So we're missing so much, right? And what has happened since we started implementing this? So we started implementing this in Phoenix before we moved to one of our virtual markets for cold calling, continuing to SMS in Phoenix. But what we started to realize was once we implemented the verified data, our wrong phone numbers, like the people we called that were wrong or disconnected or abandoned, went down tremendously. Like I'm talking about 29% wrong phone numbers, almost a 30-year data set, guys, all the way down to 7.6% wrong phone numbers. That is tremendous. Now, it does cost more money, right? Because you're going to get your data skip traced, but then we need to verify that data. So it's an extra step in the process. But just imagine your VAs, if you have VAs cold calling, now almost a quarter of their time is now saved from speaking with people who weren't interested or we had the wrong phone number. Now we're only most of the time now, as in 93 times out of 100, if someone answers the phone, we have the right person on the call, right? It seems like a no brainer, right? If you're thinking about it, it's like, duh, that's the way it should be. But guys, it's not the case when you're calling multiple phone numbers for a lead, right? Then you're wondering, like, why am I not getting good leads? It's because you're talking to the wrong people, right? And I'm always preaching about putting your virtual assistants in a position to win. And this is a way of doing it. Yes, it's going to cost more money, right? And that's why I recommend staying more niche. You're not trying to do this for a huge set of 15, 20,000 people. You're trying to do this for a list of 2,000 people. Because guess what? All the people in your market, that because we can all pull the same data, we all have similar tools. Everyone else pulls that data and they get it skip traced. Guarantee they don't get their data verified. So they're missing the right phone numbers that you're able to identify. Upwards to a third of your data set that your competitors simply don't have, right? So we're always looking for competitive advantages. And this is one of the ways you're going to be able to do that heading into the new year. If you guys are interested to learn more about what that may look like with getting your data verified, we are taking on like a small like waiting list just to kind of see what that's going to look like with fulfillment. We don't want to like open the floodgates and be like, We only have 80 virtual assistants to do this because, again, it is done manually. That's how good this data is. We do it manually. We don't spit it into we don't put it in a system and it spits out the data back to us. It's actually line by line verified. Thousands of records, line by line verified. And then for the data that we can't get verified, which is another about 20 to 25% of your data set, meaning that the numbers that you got from your provider, all of them are wrong. We do additional data scrubbing and data mining to get the right data, right? So like how valuable is that? Again, if we're trying to cold call, we're trying to get people on the phone, we need to make sure we get the right people on the phone or we're texting the right people. And it makes all the difference in your ROI. So you may spend a little bit more money on the data, but man, that quality stuff is oh so worth it. You go from setting one appointment a day to potentially setting 4 to 5 appointments in a good market that is good for cold calling. Same thing for SMS. Our SMS leads have gone up tremendously, even in a market like Phoenix, where there's so many people here. We get leads done because we verify the data. So, guys, again, if you're interested in getting on the waiting list, as we are continuing to pilot this, we started piloting in the very first week of December. So we are getting really good results from it. And I want you guys, we can only share it to a small group of people. I don't know if it's going to be 5 people, 10 people, 15, but we're only going to be able to share this with a few folks just to kind of get through the initial, you know, hey, make sure we get your data set back in a matter of time. Typically, it's a 24 to 48 hour turnaround, depending on the size of the data set. But it is something that I'm super excited about. And we're going to be wrapping that in to Start Virtual, making sure our clients that Start Virtual get the very best data, making sure they're calling the right freaking people. So, guys, hope you got value from this video today. If you're not verifying your data yet, you're just like everyone else. No one else is really verifying their data unless it's like a couple hundred people and you're having to go one by one to white pages and you still can't really get the verified data. You just get a couple phone numbers. You don't know which one is the right one, right? If you are getting your numbers verified, you are going to be ahead of your competition probably for at least the next 9 to 12 months. So this is something really cool, something I'm excited about. We're starting to see it actually work in our business. So before I talk about anything on this channel, before I bring up any sort of thing like this, I always test it. I like to see it work first. So it's working. So now I'll get a chance to talk about it, which is really cool. So guys, hope you got value from this video today. If you're interested in potentially hopping on the waiting list, just shoot me an email right here, mattbeard@startvirtual.com. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Spend some time with your family. Do the best you can to unplug for just a little bit. I know we as entrepreneurs and business owners, sometimes it's tough to completely just unplug, but I hope that you're able to be present there with your family, friends, and loved ones. It's Christmas Eve, guys. Hope you have a wonderful time with your family. I'll still be checking in a little bit later on. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next time. Bye.